I usually just sit there at my computer and I'll say something like, hey everybody, welcome to the Luthierist Podcast. I'm Paul Rhoney. Today on the show, we're talking to Jim Erdahl of Veritas Guitars. Jim is a friend of mine and we work together at Veritas, and I really enjoyed this conversation that we had, because I usually record it after the fact.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll say something like, this episode is brought to you by our podcast patrons. If you would like to become a patron of the show, there's a link in the podcast description. For as little as $1 a month, you can pay to support the show, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, please enjoy this interview, is usually how that goes.
And we're live.
And, yeah. God, don't do that. Anything but "and we're live."
Yeah, I gotta have my own catchphrase.
Yeah, you got your own. Yeah, you have to have your own.
I don't have one.
I'm gonna do that. Because
So, this is a drunk podcast now.
hopefully, I mean, it's podcasting. Period. I think there's more than one way to podcast. You know, I would hope. You listen to podcasts. What's your favorite podcast?
Actually, now, last podcast on the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to like the Dollar more, but now
Okay.
I like that podcast on the left.
You've switched horses.
Yeah, well, there's like 3 guys instead of 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little weird, with 2 people.
Yeah. It's just so awkward. No, I was going to tell you before we started recording. We are recording, and this can get edited out. Doesn't matter. But I was going to tell you that I'm probably going to ask you a lot of questions that I already know the answer to, because we've known each other for a while.
Fair enough.
But I'm asking for the listeners, so that's...
We got to loosen it up and get used to being recorded. We got to get into a regular conversation.
Sometimes I just start that thing without telling anybody, and then it goes...
And then you have lawsuits.
And then I just start rolling into, hey, so why don't you tell me about your childhood, and get really deep into what exactly made you so weird.
See, that's fine with me, because my parents aren't going to listen to this.
You don't think so?
No.
Never?
I won't tell them.
Oh, you won't tell them?
No, because I don't know what's going to happen.
But dude, you're on a
podcast.
podcast. You're on a famous podcast. That's
famous, yeah.
It's so huge. 1,500 people per episode. Come on, dude. You gotta... This is a feather in your cap. You gotta tell your parents.
There's a lot of things I don't tell my parents.
Okay, well, we don't have to get into that, but I do want to know... Well, okay, wait, before I ask you about your anything before today, let's talk a little bit about just who you are today.
Oh, we're going to talk about me.
We're going to talk about you.
Oh.
Yeah, this is about you. Did I not mention that?
Yeah.
Did I not tell you that?
I thought, it was your podcast.
It's my podcast, but it's my podcast where I talk about
your childhood.
My childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one time I was on a swing and I fell off, and I hurt myself really bad.
Lots of people that build guitars have traumatic brain injuries in their childhood. That's a thing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
A lot in common with serial killers, I think.
You think so? Guitar makers and serial killers?
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Hard to say sometimes.
There's a blurred line somewhere in there.
Yeah, you never know.
No, but so you're Jim Erdahl and you work at Veritas Guitars.
Yeah.
And what do you do at Veritas Guitars?
A lot of things. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I know
finishing.
That. Yeah.
Finishings mostly. I do
Right.
all the finishing.
You do all of the finishing.
And then I do, programming and run the shop. Keep tools
no
working.
big deal. Just programming.
Well, it's...
Oh, yeah, no big deal.
No, but you know
just
how it
all
is.
the glue-ups and all the binding.
It's weird. People don't like to talk about programming when it comes to guitar building. You know that.
Well, okay, yeah, people get weird about, CNC, they get weird about, CNC stuff. Occasionally.
Well, I think, customers get weird about CNC stuff. I think, most guitar builders are pretty much on board with it.
I think you're right. But okay. So disclaimer.
On board with it to the extent, people that hand build guitars, that's a choice that they make. But I don't think I've ever met a guitar builder that, overtly hates CNC machines.
Yeah,
it's not like
either.
I mean, they just like building guitars by hand.
Yeah, they might just
But they don't
enjoy
like
it for the
necessarily. They don't
process.
like trash talk
Right.
people that build guitars.
I think you're probably right.
Because they understand. They understand the reasoning behind it.
Okay. Well, but full
It's
disclaimer.
It's more with customers.
So most of the audience of this show are very into the techie side of things. So you can definitely, if you feel like getting into anything about programming,
String theory
in terms of programming,
I don't know anything else.
you can go as deep as you want to go, because people will nerd out on whatever you want to nerd out on. But yeah, you okay.
Well, I'm not good at talking about myself, so you have to ask me.
I know, that's the thing. That's where it
This is
becomes
where your interviewing
my
skills
job of
become-
being the good interviewer.
Yeah.
Well, I know you don't want to talk about this stuff, which is what's fun about this.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to flatter you a little bit. I've done this already a little bit previously tonight, and
Never gets old.
I'm going to do it again. You are the best finisher that I've ever met.
Oh.
Period.
You gonna record that?
I'm recording that. Totally recording that.
That's awkward.
It doesn't have to be awkward. No, you're
Appreciate
good.
it, though.
Here's the thing. You're fucking good at paint. Really fucking good at paint.
Oh. So we're swearing now.
Really, yeah. Swearing on what? We haven't had some good swearing on this podcast in a while. So
all right, let it fly.
we're
Let's
having
do it.
some drinks.
Yeah.
We're having some swearing. You're fucking good at finishing.
Well, I appreciate that.
You also program the CNC machine.
Yes.
You do. Is it fair to say that you do the vast majority, let's put it that way, of the machining of all wood?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. So Veritas has Alex, who does the majority of the sanding. So it comes off the CNC machine, and it still has tooling
he
marks.
He helps out with a lot of building too.
Yes, he does, of course. Yeah, he does fretting. He does a lot of glue ups.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
And also he's getting good at the CNC machine.
Is he? He's starting to take to that.
It's one of those that never-ending game of like trying to make it so that you can make a program good enough to let somebody else run it.
Totally.
Because I always think that I reached that point, and then there's always like one question that I never thought anybody would ask about like the setup, or like where everything goes.
Yeah, we definitely went through that when I was running the machine over there for sure.
Yeah,
like, I would have to call you on.
Well,
your
yeah,
vacation.
we talked about that too. Like where like there's the header and the name of the, when you load the G file.
The G code. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
I'm not looking good. I can't remember the names.
Do
Yeah,
you want another beer? I've got more beer here. There's a lot more beer.
You load the G thing.
Uh-huh.
And then you can put like comments and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So we talked about it when you were working there. Like, tell me what you need to know from doing this, and then I'll add notes. As required. But
right. What to measure, where to measure it.
It sounds like super easy. And it's easy to say, but there's also a billion programs.
Yeah.
So like anytime there's like 5 different programs for one step on the neck or something like that, and if you want a comment added in, I got to go back in and I have to be organized enough to add all those comments into all the other programs.
So like if you program in where the machine is going to stop here at this point, just for the purpose of measuring the depth of the neck pocket, you have to actually type in all that information and say, okay, the machine is paused for this reason.
Yeah.
Now go measure the neck pocket, make sure it's within these tolerances.
Actually, I finally figured out like how to go in, because that's outside of the like the Rhino program that I use. But you have to go in and like put those message lines. It's like parentheses or no, I don't remember exactly what it is, but
brackets or parentheses or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you put like MSG, comma, remove the leftover from the body that got cut out, and then vacuum off the tool change machine. Yeah. And then hit go. And it's like a pop-up window now. And I figured that out after I'd already done like 1,000 programs. Yeah. So
now you're going back.
Then it's like you have to figure out like which programs we use the most.
Yeah.
Like how do I find time to go through and add that? Yeah. And usually I'm in all honesty pretty lazy about it.
Well,
like I don't really. It's not like I figure something out and then stop and add that into all the programs I can think of.
Right. You do it as needed.
I make a mental note and that doesn't usually work out.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like you're like, oh, I'll never forget that, and then you go 5 minutes and you forget everything you were thinking about 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so
That's just standard shop life.
And the other thing is like, I know the way that Veritas runs, like bodies and a lot of other things is to kind of say, okay, we have one program that does, say, a Portlander with 2 humbuckers, the standard roller bridge, and a Bixby.
Yeah.
And then we have a completely separate program that does 2 humbuckers with, say, a wraparound bridge. I don't know, whatever, like random.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to piecemealing it together.
And I know exactly what you mean, because I went, we'd had that single tool machine that was before you started, where everything was sort of piecemeal.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have to change tools for different steps.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of conflicted about the best way of doing that, because I've always thought that, technically speaking, piecemealing it, like having a separate program, hey, this is a Portlander that gets a forearm carve. So you run the Portlander with its bolt-on. You can combine them any way you want, but then you run a separate program that's either P90s or bolt-on, or P90s or humbuckers.
Right.
And then, the bridge is another option, that kind of stuff. Which I think if it was a smaller shop, because Veritas has the advantage of tons of Portlanders with humbuckers and the roller bridge. That's
it's the bread and butter. It's the best seller.
It made sense
far
to go that route.
Yeah.
As far as that,
totally.
If it was more of a, if we weren't trying to be more of a production sort of an operation, it would make sense to go more piecemeal, where you just have hey, this is a Portlander, or you could even actually use, you could figure out a way of actually using your humbucker routing program for any one of your bolt-on models.
Yeah.
You could just route, just have a separate outside shape, the profile program, and you could use the bolt-on and humbuckers. Everything would be interchangeable.
Yeah.
But that would also lead to there being infinitely more billions of programs.
Yeah.
In certain respects.
Sure.
But with Veritas, we have the advantage of, most mini masters are bolt-ons with humbuckers, roller bridge, so we make that all one program.
Yeah.
As opposed to piecemeal.
Yeah, it's just a different way to do things, and I mean, I think that for a production standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to be able to just have one program, ready, set, go, literally just click.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I want, and it's the recipe, and it's just click go.
Yeah, but there are other horror stories, other problems with there's a bound guitar that's in the batch of unbound guitars, and then that one gets run with a forearm carve, and there goes your binding.
Yeah.
Because the danger is you can get into the mode of just running the same program for a stack of 6 guitars.
Yeah.
And one of them might be not the right
Did you
program.
guys figure that out yet with the binding that flows around the forearm carve? I know that that was talked about.
I kind of I have an idea on how to do it.
Yeah.
I've seen that US Masters that I used to work for, they did that.
Yeah.
I'm just lazy. We need a longer router bit to do it, and I'm just lazy about it.
Okay.
I guess. I just had this one guitar, wanted Shoreline Gold binding.
Oh, wow.
Because of course, Kerry's there, and he just sells it because somebody asked for it.
Yeah. Somebody says, "Can I get Shoreline Gold binding?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
that is totally possible. Yeah, easy, man.
Absolutely, let's do it.
We can do it." Not realizing that doesn't exist.
Yeah, so I'm actually painting the Shoreline Gold binding on, which is a trip.
Yeah.
I did it successfully once.
Yeah, you did.
It
looked really
but then
good.
the guy that wanted it, it was for that guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was an order mix-up or something, so we didn't put a forearm carve on it.
Mm.
So I finished this entire custom guitar with Shoreline Gold binding, a bunch of crazy options that nobody else would ever want.
Yeah.
And then the customer is like, "Yeah, I want a forearm carve."
Yeah.
So I'm remaking it and doing it again now. So I guess that that's a NAMM guitar, the one that he dished.
The one that yeah. Cool.
I mean, it wasn't actually as ugly as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. When you get an order, it always fascinates me when you get an order where you're 100% sure that's going to be ugly.
The worst guitar. Yeah, for sure.
No way that's going to be just.
Yeah.
Who would want that? And then you see, once it's all done, you sort of step back and look at it and go
oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's par for the course in a lot of it's just something you've learned to live with.
Yeah, but then
customers coming to you with ideas that just sound terrible, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, this is actually
but then,
really good.
like building guitars as a career, though, when you get one-upped on design by your customer, it's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah.
God
damn it.
It's total. It's an ego problem, I suppose. Like, I was 100% ready to just cuss this customer out if I ever saw him in person. And then after the guitar's
for his
done...
poor choices.
Yeah, and then after the guitar's done, it's like, oh, yeah, dude, that's a pretty sick guitar.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, do you have an example of, like, what's your best example of that?
That's my best example.
The Shoreline Gold binding?
Yeah, that's actually... I mean, it happens rarely.
Okay, do you have another example of that? Can you think of a bad color combination of something that you really loved, or that you loved when it was done?
Well, so there's 3 different levels for me. There's like, if a combination comes together, and like I'm like, I would buy that. Yeah, that's rare. Yeah, because I don't spend money on guitars like that. But like, there's sometimes where it's like, yeah, dude, I bet I would. This guy, whoever bought this guy's got it going on. Like, he's a cool guy. Yeah. I'll buy him a beer if I ever can't hang out with him. Yeah. But then there's like the second level where, like, I would never buy it, but I think it looks good. And then the third level is like, I would never buy it. I don't think it looks good. And most of the guitars I've ever done have fallen into the second category. Yeah. Where I would never buy them. And I think that there's probably more that have fallen into the category that I would buy than the third category of I would never. Yeah. That's ugly, Yeah. But I think. Sorry, what was your question?
Just like, well, it's like a combination of that, like a specific combination of
like
a
one
guitar.
That surprised me, or one that I hated.
One that surprised you.
Surprised me.
Yeah.
Usually, like, Veritas doesn't do a lot of like exotic wood stuff. It's usually like a lot of solid colored bolt-on kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, we obviously do. I feel confident that we can do like anything, but our customer base doesn't generally go for like.
Right. You get a lot of metallic finishes, sparkle finishes.
Yeah. Which I like.
Which is fun.
Yeah, I like those. I mean, I would never put a metallic finish over like a quilted maple top.
Right.
Because I even though I'm not a fan of quilted maple, I would never waste it like that.
Right.
But when we get into like figured walnuts, curly maple, and quilted maple, that kind of stuff, that's when I start sort of getting weirded out, because there hasn't been a whole lot of Veritas that have that. Yeah. And it starts getting a little bit, it's just outside of the box of what the brand really generally offers. Yeah. So then it gets sketchy, sort of. Like, I don't, because I haven't done enough of it to really like visualize what it would be like. I mean, I can kind of visualize it in my brain, but I'm also cynical, so I tend to like hate anything that's not what I would initially want. Yeah. Yeah. But so as far as guitars that I can't really throw any under the bus. I've been happy with the way almost all of them have turned out. Yeah.
Well, here's a question.
What really bothers me most about guitars isn't really necessarily like the features, but it seems like every now and then you get a guitar that fights you every step of the way. Sure. Where like, no matter what you do, like you have to repaint it 3 times. Yeah. Something stupid. Oh God, like that. Yeah. Like that pisses me off more than any amount of like aesthetic features. Yeah. Like. Yeah. And I've never actually had one that. Usually the ones that I think I would hate go super smooth. And the one where it's like, oh, Olympic white, yeah, I got that, and I'll repaint it 4 times. Yeah. So those are the ones that really bother me. It's not. It's not about how they look. It's about how they behave. Like they just don't. They don't want to get built.
Okay. Well, how about taking a slightly different like detour here? You have, at least as far as I'm aware, for a long time have had like an outstanding order of like a 503 that you get to make for yourself.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
You haven't done it yet?
No.
Do you know what you're going to do with it yet?
No, that's why I haven't done it yet. Oh. There have been times when I've been tempted to like pull a Diva card and say like, when a customer's order is done, just like, I want that one. We'll rebuild that customer's one. But that's a dick move.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you don't want the customer. You can't.
Yeah. But I would feel bad.
Casey wouldn't let that happen. I mean, that's not cool, right?
I mean, he might let it happen. I don't know.
Well, no, he probably wouldn't.
I don't think I would. Well, I've also been trying to like just because I don't want to waste the time. I don't want to like put it into the system and like waste the production doing it.
Yeah. But you still don't know what you want on it, like as far as because you did a poured binding headstock one time, and I remember that.
Which one?
I don't remember specifically which one. I think it was the first one that I remember that you did like a poured.
Yeah.
Binding.
The epoxy binding on that.
Epoxy binding on the headstock with like an ebony overlay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the full custom features, right? So binding everywhere, and it was gorgeous, right? And I remember geeking out about that.
Really?
And you were geeking out about that.
Well, I was probably just excited that I did it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know you were definitely excited that you did it for sure, but like I thought that you were
because that was like doing the faceplate thing was like a technical challenge.
Well, yeah,
which is the only thing that I really
and you fucking pulled it off.
That's the only thing I get off on now is like it's like technical challenge stuff.
Technical challenges,
like, I mean, it would be. I don't know. Like, I would really love to be able to. I feel like I could build guitars by hand. I would like to experiment more with that, but I would want to do it like one guitar at a time. That's what I'd want to do it. As soon as you end up having like two guitars going on at the same time, that's when I'm like, we'll just do a CNC machine. Like, I don't want to shape multiple necks by hand.
What would you build by hand if you could build a guitar by hand?
Well, like my big whatever you call it, like what's that? Like a white elephant? What is that called?
Bucket list.
My whale.
Yeah.
Project?
White whale.
Like, white whale. Yeah. White elephants. Yeah. My big white whale. I guess when I'm old and I have a peg leg and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have a peg.
I think I would probably want to do an acoustic carved top, like a
arch top.
Arch top, yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm the same. I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I'd love to be a master of everything. Like, if I've never crossed over into doing any sort of like classical instrument sort of stuff. And I'm not like arrogant enough to try that because like it's a totally different.
Because you're a white guy from Wisconsin.
And
you don't build Spanish guitars.
Yeah, that's probably true. So I stick with the white guy stuff. Like electric guitars, bolt-ons.
All right. Well, speaking.
No, but I really want to do it like a carved top, like a full like traditional. Yeah. That would make me so that I could shake the hand of a violin builder and sort of be treated like an equal.
Yeah, not be.
That would be like
in the dog pen.
Yeah, because I can't like walk up to somebody and be like, "Yeah, shop foreman at Veritas to build bolt-ons. How you doing? You like your work?" Yeah. Because then they'll just be like, "Yeah, I hand build violins," and I'd be like, "Okay, I'll just show myself out."
Oh, that sounds so sad.
Well,
when you put it that way, but.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this came up like when you were working at Veritas, but like there's something really deeply unnerving to me about people that call themselves master builders. Yeah,
I think that we all struggle with that a little bit.
Because I don't think that's a name that you can give yourself.
I certainly never called myself that. People would call me that, and I would be like, I don't.
Yeah, you're hanging out with the wrong people if you think I'm a master builder.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for people that build complex instruments by hand, because there's so much that gets made easier by the CNC machine.
Yeah.
I mean, primarily what I'm looking for with the CNC machine is obviously trying to build the best guitar possible, but also repeatability. If you're trying to build a company, CNC machines are the way to go, because everything, you don't have to worry about. I mean, it's hard enough to train people how to sand bolt-ons, let alone like, hey, here's a hand plane, carve the inside of this top. Like that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there have been companies that have been able to train people to do that, and hats off to them, because I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Losing my train of thought again.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, but I want to go back, because at some point in time I did want to ask you about how you got into it, and you know where you got your start. You know, go back to the
failed rock star.
Yeah. That's kind of something that you said when I was working at Veritas. You kept saying that a lot of guitar makers were just failed rock stars, and I have taken that, and I've said that a bunch of times myself since then.
It's kind of true.
It's kind of true.
Like but it's not. I don't. Yeah. It's not a negative thing. I mean, I'm still like, we'd all be happier as rock stars, but at least I'm not an accountant. You know? Right, everybody'd be happier as a rock star. Like that's one of those like things that you could probably universally say. What if it sucks? Maybe, and maybe it does suck. But yeah, and I think it's probably true to say that like a lot of guitar makers are probably a lot happier as guitar makers than they would have been as rock stars. But there's a ton of people that fall into Luthiery because their music careers didn't work out. Well, I think it's or for me it was just like love of guitar.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Love of guitar.
Whether you're playing it or trying to learn more about the inner workings of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be just, you know, maybe we weren't born to be musicians. We were, you know, maybe we were born to be, you know, less artistic. I don't. That's a really mean thing to say.
It's not. It's artistic in a different way, right? Because we're artistic in our
There are a lot
craft,
of guitar builders that are artistic.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm one of them.
You don't?
I think I'm a technical guitar builder.
Okay.
I think I build good guitars. Like I stand behind every guitar I've ever built.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be hanging in, you know, the Met or something like that. Like It's not an art piece. I don't consider. I mean, there is, but that's not to say that other people aren't creating art with guitars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody getting upset.
No, of course not. No, but I mean, I think that
I mean, I've definitely met guitar builders that are more artistic than some of the bands I've seen. So
fair.
There's a Venn diagram there.
Yeah, fair.
Sort of.
Fair. Totally fair. I'm there with you, and I think that, you know, I've experienced that as well. But how did you get into it originally? Like, you know, at some point in time, you're a kid and you pick up a guitar for the first time and it develops this obsession. Like, what was that?
Like,
when was that?
How old were you?
What was that like?
Well, you're a drummer.
I was a drummer originally, yeah.
Yeah. When did you get into guitar?
So, like, freshman, sophomore year of high school, I was pretty much a drummer. And then junior, senior year, I started...
You said it like you were going to say, like, I was pretty much a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, I'm still a bummer. But, but like, junior, senior year of high school, so that would have been 98, 99, that I decided to try to learn to play the guitar, and I started taking lessons and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, 98, 99.
Okay. So I was a clarinet player.
Cool.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've always had this, like, my dad, I think, would call it an obstinate streak. He always calls me an obstinate person.
Obstinate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of a contrarian sort of way.
Maybe it's the alcohol, but I don't really even know what obstinate means right now.
It means just...
What does it even mean?
Like, you're just a prick. I think that's what it means. Like, sort of like when somebody says that you can't do something, or, you know, or if somebody tells you to do something, you're just like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Like, you're rebellious.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also when somebody says, you know, you can't do this, then, like, yeah, right. Well, I will.
Right. That's when you take it as a challenge instead of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that somebody says to me is a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, anyways, I was a first chair clarinet, I would add. 3 years.
First chair clarinet, 3 years.
Yeah. At the time, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I ran into, like, you know, the quarterback
just
of the
smashing
football
team.
it. But I got into guitars, like, I was probably, like, 14 or 15. My dad had a friend who had come across an acoustic guitar because he had a friend that just upgraded to, I would assume, like a Martin or something like that.
Okay. So I had a cheap guitar.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not... I like that guitar. I still have it. It's an Alvarez acoustic, made in Japan.
Yeah, I think I've played that guitar. Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
I mean, it's
perfectly serviceable guitar.
Yeah. Which sounds like an insult, but I know what you mean, though. But I've always loved that guitar. I mean, but I got that guitar, and then I learned taught myself how to play the national anthem, because I'm an American.
Yeah.
That was the first song I learned. And then and then I found out what tabs were, so I went to the library. You know, this is back in our day when didn't even have internet.
What did you look up to play tabs?
I don't even remember, dude. I mean, it was something that like nowadays I wouldn't even have to look up tabs for. It's like Green Day, you know, like something horrible like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Toadies.
Yeah, 2-chord songs. Like what 2 chords are they playing? Like if I would have just had like 5 minutes more patience, I would have been able to like figure it out on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Led Zeppelin. I was into Led Zeppelin at the time, so I learned, you know, because I thought Wayne's World was going around, so I thought like when you learn how to play Stairway to Heaven, like you're officially like a mediocre guitar player.
Sure.
So I specifically focused on learning Stairway to Heaven so that I could call myself a mediocre guitar player.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the 90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
It's the new 60s.
It is the new 60s. God, it's so weird.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So how old were you? What year was this?
I was like 14, so it would have been like 98.
Okay.
And it sort of coincided with, I moved from Minneapolis to middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
Right.
And I was a freshman. And I didn't know anybody at the new place, and you know, I had nothing going on. So I had the guitar before, and I never tried to play it. And then when I moved to Wisconsin, I was just sheer boredom overtook me, and I was like, well, I got 24 hours a day to mess around with this thing.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of started getting into it. And then it was an acoustic guitar, so then I got into electric guitar by buying that Dan Electro we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The famous, like, first iteration of the redo of Dan Electro.
The DC, you have a DC 3?
2.
DC 2?
Do they call it a DC 2? I don't
Depends.
know.
So it's 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many pickups it has.
Yeah. But I think this was just called a DC because I think at that time they were only offering it with 2 pickups.
Oh, really?
But there was a DC 3 that was specifically called a DC 3.
Yeah, it was DC 3 and had 3 pickups.
But you couldn't get a DC 1.
No, I don't know that they ever did a DC 1.
You can get a U1. But
so there was. Oh, okay. So you have just a DC, so 2 pickups.
2 pickups, yeah.
Okay.
The lipstick 2 pickups. Yeah. The poor man's Telecaster, as the salesman literally said to me as I was buying it.
Did he really?
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
This is the poor man's Telecaster. By the way, you're a poor man.
Yeah, not really salesman material.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah. Then I was played in some stupid punk bands, whatever, in high school, and but never really was too serious about it.
Yeah.
And my parents wanted me to go to college, so I had to go to college. So I actually went to college for accounting for a full year and a half.
That is tight.
Yeah.
How much of that did you retain?
I retained a little bit of the nerdiness. Not so much like the actual practical know-how of how to do it. You know, the thing is, I would have been a good accountant. I was doing really well in school. The thing is, I hated it.
Okay.
And the reason I picked it was because, so you know, like how you can do like your first semester where you don't declare anything, you just
totally, yeah,
just general whatever, like do like 3rd grade math for a semester, and then like to get into the second semester, whoever my what do you call those guidance counselors, whatever?
Yeah.
They like pulled me and he's like, you got to declare like what you're going to go to school for. You got to make a decision. And I wasn't into any of it anyways. Yeah. I was just doing it because my parents wanted me to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally said like, I don't know, can I see a list of what you offer? Because I hadn't even crossed my mind to even pick anything.
Yeah, I had a similar experience in college, for sure.
So I picked accounting because the list was alphabetical.
It was like, so it was the first one.
It was the first one. I was like, I'm done with this meeting. I'll do accounting. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the classes that I want to take.
Yeah, and then my buddy Kevin. Well, you know Kevin.
He was Kevin, your roommate.
Yeah, he was in England at the time, and he.
It was
very, very high. But he got sent back home by his mom with $50 in his pocket, so it wasn't so cool. But he wanted to go to Red Wing, the guitar school.
Yeah, Red Wing.
Stringed instrument repair.
Yep.
Musical stringed instrument repair, guitar specialty. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe I can't remember what it's called. This is bad. I know that the initials are MSCST. Minnesota State College Southeast Technical.
Woo.
That's what it is. Boom. Nailed it.
Nice.
So I just I failed out of my last semester of accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally had to sit down with my accounting 2 teacher,
mm-hmm.
and she was like, you have to redo everything this semester. And I was like, no.
I'm not going
to do that.
Nope.
And so then I just left.
Yeah.
And I was kind of a punk about it, too, because I thought, at that time, like, I was getting financial aid, you know, like, basically it was like free college.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the way it was going to be when I went to Minnesota. Wrong. Turns out when you drop out of something, the federal government doesn't want to help you anymore.
Oh.
Which I think is fair.
Interesting.
It's fair.
That's totally fair.
Didn't read the fine print.
Oh.
So I had to pay for all that. Like, it wasn't too bad though. It was like $20,000 in student loans. It wasn't the end of the world. But then I went to, because literally just fell back on like, I like guitars. I want to just do this. I had no plan. That's the thing. There was no plan.
Yeah.
I never really thought that I was going to be a guitar builder at all.
But what did you? So why go?
Because it was fun. Why play guitar?
Well, okay, sure, but
I mean that's what it was. I just. Like,
so you never saw like a career in it. You never thought that like this would lead to, you know.
Oh, I'm sure that I still thought that like the music was going to take off.
Oh, so you thought that you were going to be a musician that had a
based on
degree
music
in how to
that I
make
won't even
guitars.
play for my closest friends right now. I thought I was going to make it. Yeah. But you know, the thing, I had no work ethic when it came to that. I just thought like, my idea of a rock star is like, what's the point of making it as a rock star if you have to work?
Yeah, if you can't just show up for gigs, play your guitar, and leave.
Yeah.
And whatever.
And why
even
practice and write songs? Like, that's pointless.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I just thought that like you're either born to do it or you're not. I didn't realize that there was a whole bunch of really hardworking musicians.
Yeah.
Really actually trying to make it.
Yeah. Keith Richards tries, man. He fucking tries.
Yeah, well, I thought, that's what I thought it would be like, you know. Just like, it'd be like the Beatles. Somebody's going to hear one song that I like, and I'm just going to take over the world.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work that way.
No, not so much.
In anything, it turns out.
No, not so much.
But, yeah, so I went to Red Wing and then got back. It was a year program, so it's like 9 months. And, you know, they teach you how to build guitars by hand. Mostly repair focused, actually.
Really?
Even though I built a Telecaster.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, so hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to build a Tele. They've only been doing it for 50 years at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's brand new technology.
Yeah. And an acoustic, which you're never going to see that acoustic. So, as much as...
Haven't I seen...
As much as I love your friend... No.
I've seen...
No,
you showed me some builds that you've done. Some things.
I'm not going to confirm or deny if you've ever seen that guitar.
I mean, I don't think I've seen like a completed guitar that you've said that you built at Red Wing or anything like that, but you've showed me like bodies and stuff. Is that like...
Well, the acoustic is in pieces, but the Tele that I built, I refinished the Telecaster.
Oh, I definitely haven't seen a Tele.
I refinished the Telecaster, because the thing at Red Wing at the time was like you couldn't do colors, like, unless you did a bunch of extra work, and I wasn't really into, you know, doing extra work, so I didn't, because you had to do like color tests and all that. It was very like, very technical, like you had to say what color you wanted to spray your guitar, and you had to like come up with color swatches to prove that you could do it, and explain how you were going to do it, and then they would clear you to do it, and I was like, I'll just do a clear guitar, I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And I still have that attitude too, by the way. My favorite thing is spraying like burst guitars, you know? Because you can just do whatever you want with it. It's like mood based. It's like, I can tell, like, this is really weird and it sounds crazy, but I can tell what kind of mood I was in when I see a guitar that I sprayed, like a transparent guitar.
Yeah.
Like either cherry top or, you know, amber or like a tobacco burst or something like that. I can actually tell what mood I was in when I sprayed it.
That is amazing.
It's not amazing, it's weird.
No, it's amazing. I don't think you know our audience.
Well, yeah. Well, it's weird because I'll see a guitar and I'll just have like this visceral like recoil from it and be like, oh god, that must have been a rough day, you know?
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah. Not because it's bad, but usually I tend to like I call it like burning a guitar if I go too dark on a burst.
Oh.
That's my brain work. That's what my brain thinks about it anyways.
Like too opaque on the actual outer burst.
Well, not necessarily opaque, but like, especially with the amber, if I go too heavy on the middle, it ends up like too much of a dark brown amber.
Yeah.
And usually it does end up like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, you know, it's still a transparent guitar, but it's like not as transparent as it should have been.
Yeah.
You know? Sort of like photography, like you can have like underdeveloped and overdeveloped sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like, I guess when it comes to spraying a burst, if it's like quote unquote overdeveloped, I would call that like burning it.
Huh.
And I hate that more than anything.
Huh.
But sometimes you just end up with these weird scenarios where you have to keep chasing it and keep spraying more on for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's about like how you dial the gun in and stuff like that.
Yeah, or how you hide imperfections. Like,
yeah, that too.
Like you just look at the top of a guitar and you're like, yeah, that's going to be a real dark cherry.
Yes.
That's not good looking.
Yeah, the binding line is not straight or whatever the.
Yeah, I mean it's all about it's all about, you know, like cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating reality, I guess maybe.
Yeah, well, you know, you just want the end product to look nice. And, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it only comes from just sheer horrible repetition. You know, like stripping guitars constantly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to start at. I'm glad that I'm at a point now. I don't think there's other people that I think are better than me at it, but
I don't know anybody.
Well,
who do you think is better than you? Whose paint work have you seen that is like better?
That's the thing is like I don't even know their names. I've just seen guitars where it's like, damn, I wish I could do that.
I mean, I bet they lucked out. I don't know. Like
maybe they did.
Day.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that depends on how the company works. It's like at the NAMM show, they just like, okay, we're gonna make 100 guitars and we're gonna pick 5.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Maybe that's how some of those companies work. I don't know.
Yeah.
In my experience, it's like we're gonna build 15 and we're gonna take 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's my NAMM show experience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't know. It is, but it's hard because I try not to get too, I guess, arrogant about it. Because like I've met arrogant painters at NAMM.
You're not arrogant.
But I've met every arrogant person I've met at NAMM that's like just
was a painter.
Well, painters are existentialists, I think.
Okay.
I recognize that in every painter I've ever met.
Okay.
It's like sort of, you know, the thing where they say like there's a reason that, you know, paint can openers have a bottle opener on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, because you just have to have some sense of futility. You know what I mean? Like a healthy sense of futility to be a painter.
Uh-huh.
Like you can't. And there's also a certain. I think the thing that really changed my life with painting was just accepting that. Because when you first start out painting, you want everything to look exactly the way it is in your head.
Yeah.
You want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to let. And this also applies to even building guitars, you know, as opposed to just painting them. But I think along the entire process, at some point you just have to let the guitar become what it's going to become and stop fighting it. It's not like it's going to end up sort of like children. You know what I mean? Sort of like children.
That was a big detour, but yes.
But you know what I mean?
But yeah,
like, they're gonna rebel against you. They're not gonna be who you want them to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
To a certain degree, yeah. You just learn to accept that like these people that you're raising are.
Let them become good guitars and love them.
Good people.
Yeah,
and love your children no matter what.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That's the way. That's how I approach painting.
So you went to Red Wing, and you.
So we've only made it to when I'm 21.
Yeah, we're only there.
So then I got a job in Madison,
okay,
working for U.S. Masters Guitar Works.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
It was a guitar factory in Madison.
Okay.
And they had their own line that was called U.S. Masters Guitar Works.
Uh-huh.
And then they also built like the American Deans, because Dean at that time was like, they've always, well, in modern times, they've always been a really big import company.
Yeah.
But they also based that on having big name endorsers.
Yeah.
They had Dimebag Darrell was the big one.
Of course. So you built guitars for Dimebag Darrell?
No, he died right He died when I was in Red Wing, actually. 2004. December 8th, 2004. I remember that day.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, because it's the
You're not even a Pantera fan. I mean, if I know you,
no,
you're not.
Because I didn't like...
Or are you?
No. Okay, so here's... I didn't like the metalheads. It's not that I don't like metalheads.
Okay.
I didn't like these metalheads.
Okay.
And because they complained about us playing the Beatles.
What? Who complains about the Beatles?
Because they said the Beatles was the worst band ever.
What? No.
So they made themselves a target, basically.
Yeah, okay.
And then, of course, lo and behold, show up to work on December 8th, 2004, or show up to Red Wing anyways, not work, I mean, it's school.
Yeah.
But showed up there at December 8th, 2004, and the metalheads are crying.
Oh,
and we're like,
shit.
I thought you hated the Beatles, because that's when John Lennon died.
Oh, it was the same day?
Same day.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's gotten co-opted by the Pantera guys.
Oh, shit.
Which, nothing against that, whatever. I mean, it was a horribly tragic thing that happened.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I mean, and Dimebag Darrell, like, the unfortunate thing, I'll say this about Dean, like, Dean rode that horse to the point where it was just not cool. It's like, dude, it's like, you're not honoring him at this point.
No.
You're just taking advantage
it got
of
to
him.
it got embarrassing after a while.
Yeah. So
they're probably still doing it, and it's worse.
100%, dude. Razorbacks, Dean Razorbacks was the thing. We did so around that time, actually that night, the company that I ended up working for, Dimebag Darrell, he died in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And he was supposed to be in Chicago.
I'm impressed that you remember that much about a musician that you don't really care about.
Well, I mean, it was a horrible...
It was horrible.
I mean, it's still on my radar for being like the worst case scenario if you're at a show.
That's true. Yeah.
Totally. But I remember it because he's in Columbus, Ohio, and he was supposed to be in Chicago the next day. And the place that I was working for, or the place that I ended up working for, had done the Dimebag Darrell prototype. So I had nothing to do with the Razorback prototype.
Okay.
But I ended up working for the company that did, so they told me this story.
Oh, okay.
And they were supposed to drive from Madison, Wisconsin down to Chicago to meet him the next day, like December 9th, to have like a photo shoot with this prototype guitar.
Yeah.
And they, since I don't work there anymore and I don't care about it anyway, I'll tell you the whole story.
No, yeah, please do. This is great.
So the owners that I was working for at the time, I'm not going to name names, but
okay,
they pulled kind of a petty move where the first Razorback that was ever made, they were supposed to take that to a photo shoot in Chicago the next day, the day after Dimebag Darrell died.
Yeah.
And since he didn't make it, they got the phone call that said, like, hey, this happened, this meeting isn't going to happen. Like, don't worry about bringing the guitar down.
Yeah.
So what they did was took that prototype that was built and set it aside, and then built another prototype.
Okay.
And then gave that one to Dean. So Dean still says so this is where it gets into this gray area of the company. So like, it's a philosophical problem.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Dean has the first Razorback ever made, the prototype.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that got it and had it painted and put their logo on it.
Yeah.
So they have the first one.
Yeah.
But that's actually the second Razorback made.
Okay.
The first one...
and that was made by U.S. Masters?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one they kept because they're assholes, and they thought it was going to be a collectible item. Because they just found out that Dimebag Darrell died.
Okay, so are there differences between them?
No, it's the same thing.
It's the same guitar?
We built hundreds of the same ones after that.
Okay, so it's not like the prototype was
U.S.
really
Masters wasn't doing the painting at that time. We were sending the guitars to... Well, they were. I didn't start until probably 6 months later.
Okay.
I started in like June of 2005.
Okay.
But they had the prototype, the original prototype that was never sent to Dean and was never painted and never had the Dean logo put on it.
Okay.
so there was this weird thing, so technically they had the first prototype, and Dean had the second one that they had finished, and then they said that was the first one, but they didn't know that it was the second one.
Oh, shit. Okay,
so that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's a philosophical argument. Like, at what point does it become, like, a Dean? At what point does it become... Because they didn't do the finishing.
Yeah.
They didn't put the logo on it.
Well, I mean...
And then years later, they tried selling it and saying, like, oh, this is the first one ever made.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's all very fair. But also, what is the point if it's a signature model and it's not signed off by the real artist, right?
Well, yeah. The thing is, Dimebag never played a Razorback. He designed it, but he never saw one.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
So that photo shoot that was supposed to happen on December 9th was his first... That was the first time he was going to be holding a Razorback.
Yeah.
He always played Dean MLs.
Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, he played Washburns because Dean went out of business.
Right. But when Dean came back, he played the ML.
Well, yeah. It's the whole endorsement thing. I mean, whatever. But then Dean was like, "Oh, we're gonna do like design a guitar, sort of like the same thing that Kurt Cobain did with
the Jag Stang."
The Jag Stang, yeah, that's one. And it's actually strikingly similar scenario, except Kurt Cobain did actually play one Jag Stang.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's photos of him playing the first Jag Stang, and the second one was just getting done when he died.
Oh.
Or was murdered or killed himself. Or whatever.
Depending on what you believe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to go on record with what I believe on that one. So, yeah, he never actually played one. So, that's another philosophical thing. Is that even a signature guitar?
Yeah.
I don't even know for sure if he actually designed it. I have no idea. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Who knows?
Well, like, I know with the Jag Stang, with Kurt Cobain, they published that book after he passed. They published that book that was, like, a bunch of, like, his diaries and shit. And there was, like, a whole chapter of the book, or a whole, whatever, section, where he had, like, hand-drawn what the guitar was supposed to be. And like...
Yeah, it was like a bar napkin.
Was it? I don't know if it was a bar napkin. It might have been a bar napkin.
That was my like interpretation of looking at it, because it was
a very crude drawing.
Yeah,
like
it's not to scale.
No, not at all. It was really just like it was a child's cartoon drawing.
Yeah.
Okay, not a child, but like it was like better than a child, but like it was a not professional drawing of a guitar.
Yeah.
Right. And that basically said, like, okay, large CBS style headstock with like an arrow pointing to the headstock, right?
A large, yeah.
And then
CBS headstock.
Mustang tremolo, and then arrow pointing to the Mustang tremolo, and then,
and humbucker,
and then
humbucker,
Jaguar here, and then here was the funny thing, because I saw this book in a Barnes and Noble like when it came out, and it actually said Gibson SG humbucker in the bridge position, which was really funny.
What does that even mean?
What's really funny about that is that Kurt Cobain was asking for a Gibson SG in his Fender signature guitar, right?
But you know that, like, artists don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. No, they don't.
John Mayer has like a PRS Strat.
John Mayer has a PRS Strat.
Like,
yeah, exactly. They don't give a shit at all.
Also, PRS somehow doesn't care either.
No, they don't.
Because Santana doesn't matter anymore.
Because money.
Well, yeah.
That's why.
But can we? I don't even care. I'm going to go on a record officially saying that that's the ugliest Strat ever made.
It's
so Fender wins. I've seen some ugly Strats, but PRS is just
the worst. God. It's real bad. Did you see?
Let's put a 3-in-3 headstock on a Strat.
Oh god,
that'll
it's work. So bad. It's so bad. Did you see?
How much does it cost?
Too much. I don't know. It's
$3,000 probably.
Fucking who cares? It's stupid. Did you see the Fender did a series of guitars that they released at NAMM in this last January.
I actually didn't go to NAMM last year, so I have no idea.
You didn't? Okay, I wasn't sure. But anyway,
you didn't either. Don't take
no. I know. But like, I follow the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they did. I think it was called like the Time Capsule series. I think. Did you see that like Jaguar Stratocaster that they did?
Is that's what the Dean guitars I was building were called.
Really?
Time capsule.
Time capsule.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about that. Like, if it's not time capsule, then it's time machine
time traveler.
Something like that.
Back to the Future Stratocaster.
Did you see that one though? Where it was like a strap body, but they put Jaguar everything else on it. It didn't fit at all. It does not fit. Like,
okay,
literally take a Jaguar pickguard pickups, control plates, everything off of a fucking Jaguar, but
and then you put it on a record,
on a strap body,
and then you put it on a record, and it sounds like a Jaguar.
It's
like there's no difference.
Yeah,
it's
of course,
Jaguar.
of course, but it's a strap, bro.
Oh yeah, and then like the shape of the body resonates differently, gives you a different tone.
It's the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's so bad, and it's like,
well, you know, like I feel
why
here's the thing. I feel bad for big companies now because like they're grabbing at straws.
Okay, sure, fair.
Like they have the industry by the balls. They do. I mean, they still have like far better looking books than the rest of us. Mm-hmm. You know, like they're making money, but
sure.
But they're also trying to like dip their toes into the boutique market. Yeah. And it's just like it's like grandpa using a cell phone. It's just not cool. Yeah. Like it's hard for them right now. Is all I'm saying. But you know, it'll be hard for me again in like 3 years. So it's a pendulum. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Like right now we're living in the golden age. I think it's the golden age.
They say that. Yeah, I've heard that.
I think it's the golden age for this one reason alone. Okay. From a painter's perspective. Right. Because China, well, I say Chinese guitars, but I mean like Korea, any sort of import guitar.
Okay. Import.
I'll exclude Mexico from this.
Okay.
For for the Fender Mexico one, because I don't really know enough about them. But the overseas guitars, we'll say.
Okay.
They've mastered the art of high gloss finishes. Like they're pretty good finishes for being high gloss. Mm-hmm. So then, like it seems like the American reaction has been, we'll do satin guitars.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be the slingshot of China, like overseas. Say China again. Overseas, they're going to figure out satin. Well, not figure out satin, but they're going to figure out that that's like what's going to sell.
That's like what people want.
And then high gloss is going to come back to America, and that's when people like me are going to want to kill themselves because it's too much work. So the golden age is that like we can sell satin guitars right now and make decent money. Yeah. But it's gonna as soon as overseas starts taking over the satin thing or sort of beating it to death enough to make it seem cheap. Yeah. Then high gloss is going to become again the thing that everybody's looking for to signify having a high-end instrument. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. Yeah. Because Veritas, it seems like we've had pretty good luck with selling satin guitars.
Oh yeah, I mean Veritas satin guitar finishes are awesome, and it's great.
And I do like.
Well, Veritas is okay. So speaking from experience, I like to think Veritas has been one of the few American guitar companies that has had success with satin finishes. Because I know other American guitar companies that just don't seem to get a foothold with satin finishes. Like Nick Huber is in fucking Germany and he can fucking sell the shit out of satin finishes all day long.
Also, dude, and he's in a Foo Fighters cover band, man. I want to go see that.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, sorry.
But I know guys in Canada, I know guys in other parts of Germany and other countries that like they can do the shit out of satin finishes and they sell the hell out of them and it's great. American guitar makers just don't seem to like have that foothold yet.
Well, I guess
Veritas is one of the few companies that seems to be able to do it.
I mean, I saw a lot of it at the NAMM show. Yeah. Maybe I was just looking for it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean,
What'd you see? Like, who did you see that you were like, oh, shit, they're doing satin finishes?
There's that guy that you brought me to, that NAMM show, the first NAMM show that we went to together. Uh-huh. You brought me over to that guy when I met the Grainfiller guy.
Oh, yeah. Barry Gork.
Barry Gork.
Gork's good fella.
Yeah, which I like that stuff.
Are you still using that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually...
It's good shit.
He sent me, like... I got to talk to him, too, because he sent me, like, too much samples. Like,
yeah, that's the same thing.
Me, like,
I've literally never spent $1 with that guy.
No, I haven't either, and I feel bad for him. Like,
I know.
I'm getting to the point now where I have to put an order in.
I've done everything I can.
Does he sell them in larger amounts?
He sells them in... I mean, he'll do whatever you need. Like,
because I just have, like, those little jars like that.
Yeah. But they last so long. They go
because you cut them like 50% with water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's why like every time the subject comes up on this show, I try to do everything I can to tell people like, yeah, buy Gork's Good Filla. It's good shit because
he's like a super awesome guy too. Because
he's awesome.
I referred him to the Allegro Drums thing. Like, I just texted Marcus and I was like, hey, contact this guy. I think you'll like his stuff. You'll find a use for it. Just contact him.
Yeah.
And then he did. And then Barry Gork sent me like another set of samples.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, I'll buy it from you.
I got a bunch of free samples directly from Gork's Good Filla, and then TCP Global was like, we got this new stuff. It's called Gork's Good Filla. I think you're gonna like it. And then they sent me a bunch of free samples. So I've literally never spent $1 on Gork's Good Filla,
dude.
But I've used nothing but Gork's Good Filla since I started using it. It's the best.
Man, I love that guy.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah,
like he is so like cool.
Yeah,
he's just a cool guy.
He's great.
Because I'm like, you know me, I'm like jaded. Here we go. Paint reps.
Yeah, paint reps.
Because he got
Let's
offended.
Talk about paint reps.
He got offended because I called him a paint rep.
Oh no.
And that was how our entire interaction started. Because I was at this booth. I can't remember. It was somewhere in California. It was someplace out of California. It's the guy that does finishing for other companies, but also makes bases.
Oh shit! You're losing me. I don't know. I don't know that one.
I wish I could remember it because he does good finishes.
Sorry.
Anyways, I was hanging out there looking at this, and I feel like I was there with you, but maybe like you walked off when I started talking to Barry Gork. I don't know.
Could have happened.
But I started talking to this guy, and he just randomly. It was the first time actually that he like knew who I was, and I had no idea who he was. And he was like, "Yo, you work at Veritas." I was like, "Yeah, that's weird. You know that?" So instantly, I was like, 3 steps back. You know, get away from me, dude. I don't know.
3 steps forward, I take 2 steps back.
Yeah. So,
dual.
But he's like, he's like, I'd love to have you try it out. And oh no,
I think I remember
this was a couple years ago, because man, those samples have lasted a long time.
See, I think I remember 2017.
Mike was working there. Mike told me about him. That was the year before you came to NAM with us. Yeah. Yeah. Because Mike came from Tom Anderson.
But I don't think you'd met him at that point.
Who?
Barrett. Because okay,
no, it was the NAMM show you were there for, because I remember the booth, I remember the area. Yeah,
I have a fair okay. So my memory.
But I remember telling him exactly, like I was like, oh yeah, Mike told me about you guys. He worked for
Tom Anderson.
Tom Anderson, and he said it was shit. And that's what That's what I said to him. And he's like,
what?
Yeah, I was. You know how the NAMM show is. You get like prickly.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it.
I'm sure you're fine.
That's not how I behave generally, I don't think.
I don't think so.
But he was cool about it. And he took it as a challenge, which I immediately had respect for. I was like, okay, this guy is willing to fight me on this. Game on.
Yeah, my kind of person. Totally.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so like he was explaining it to me and explaining to me why. I was telling him what Mike, because he's into doing that clear granular stuff.
Well, because that was what he was marketing at the time, right? So at the time,
which I don't see any need for that, because his original products, the colored ones, are really good. They work great.
I think the idea is that you're supposed to be able to like spray your wash coat, right? Just to like dumb it down, not dumb it down. It's insulting, but like
dumb it up.
Dumb it. Oh, yeah, no, okay, but like spray your first like initial just like sealant, whether you're rubbing on shellac or you're spraying Endurovar, you're spraying a wash coat of lacquer, whatever it is,
or any other hopeless things like that.
You're spraying your first coat of something just to like hopefully prevent the wood from soaking in any more finish, right? That's the idea.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I think it's also because you're using water, so you got to like shield it somehow. Otherwise, like your grain filler won't go very far if it's soaking into the wood because of the water.
So then you use an opaque grain filler. Right, so you use this opaque grain filler because you probably are still dealing with some deep grain, right? Yeah. You use the opaque filler.
Like at Veritas, it's always like ash or mahogany.
Ash or mahogany, absolutely. So, and then you do another coat of, like, basically another wash coat, another coat of sealer, wash coat, sanding sealer, just spray a few coats of lacquer, spray a clear, whatever, sanding polyurethane, whatever the fuck you do, just spray another coat of something, right? But then you sand it, and you might still have a little bit more grain to fill.
Yeah,
at that point, and
you do with the
so
the
that's
process,
what the clear is designed
process
for.
That he uses, you definitely do end up with something.
Exactly. So that's what the clear is designed
here's a hot tip for you. I found like the best thing to deal with that. If you wipe the grain filler in, and then take like a wet rag, and then wipe that around to get the excess off, and it also spreads it into the pores that haven't been.
Some of the shallow grain.
Definitely do the two-step process where you wipe it on, and instead of just letting it dry and sanding it, get a wet rag and wipe off the excess, which will also wipe the excess into anything.
Yeah, that wet rag wipe is like that or that damp
and
paper
saves
towel
you a lot
wipe.
with sanding too.
Oh my god, it's like it really makes a difference.
But the thing is, like when I was going to Red Wing, we were using Elkid sanding sealer or Elkid based grain filler. Sorry.
I don't know that I've never used that.
It's like a cross between water-based and
is that like
oil.
Baleen Opaque, or is that something else?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
The only time I ever used it was there, because it was like a cross between, I don't know if it was a cross or if it's sort of like the best of both worlds between water-based grain filler, because water-based grain filler, from what I understand, up until I used the Barry Gork stuff, water-based grain filler dried super fast and it was a nightmare to sand. Like you couldn't take
like aqua coat or whatever.
Again, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I specifically avoided grain filler for like a decade.
Yeah.
After I used this Elkid based grain filler, so like oil based grain filler, you put it on and you have time to wipe off the excess with like a burlap sack or whatever you do.
Yeah. Burlap sack.
And then you have to wait a day, let it dry.
Yeah.
Elkid based, water based, you wipe it on and you could do smaller sections, but you had to like go really fast if you wanted to wipe the excess off of the burlap sack. And the Elkid based was supposed to be sort of in between that.
Okay.
And I think you could spray it the same day, like maybe 4 hours later.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time. But I just avoided grain filler because like we had this like polyester sealer at U.S. Masters.
Yeah.
That was it was an Ilva product, but it was around the time that McMaster, what was that big paint company that went out of business? I can't see their face.
Lawrence McFadden.
McFadden, yeah. Man, it was a bummer when they went out of business, man.
Yeah, I think we all felt that. Sure, that was a bummer.
There were companies that like bought the recipes, quote unquote, but
Seagrave, I think is
the
company
down in like
that
Florida
owns,
or whatever.
Yeah, I think they own all of the current sort of copyrights and patents on all that stuff.
I might be walking into like deep territory here, but I don't care what they say, it's not the same stuff.
Really?
I don't think.
See, I don't know. I don't have any first-hand experience with.
I had like exact product numbers that I switched over to from Seagraves, and it was night and day.
Really?
It was not different. But from what I understand, the difference was that McFadden was a huge company that was actually making all of their own resins and everything.
Yeah.
They made everything from scratch, from what I understood. Seagraves, I think, was a smaller company that got the recipes. They basically just bought the recipes.
Yeah.
And then they were like outsourcing all the individual products. And I'm not sure if they really got. They might have been struggling with companies not making the base product as well as it should have been made, and then they just kind of dumped it together.
Yeah. That makes total sense. Like, that sounds very plausible, you know.
Like, I don't have any scientific data to back it up, but I can tell you just from personal experience of like spraying it for like 7, maybe 6 years.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
So I
at least the specific product we were buying.
Yeah. So like I bought like some Lawrence McFadden sanding sealer and I think lacquer clear coat, you know, nitrocellulose lacquer clear coat. I think like right before they went out of business, and I cherished it so hard that I barely used it. You know what I mean?
Kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so it got to a point where it was like I used it so little. I used such a tiny little amount of it, like on the most special of projects or whatever. And I don't even remember what that was or why, like what was going on in my head at the time. But like I just cherished it so much that I barely used it. That I don't really even remember how much it was different from any other lacquers. But I do remember that like. When I was looking for another source of lacquer, I went to TCP Global and I bought their nitrocellulose lacquer, and I fucking hated it.
Well,
it was the worst.
I'm gonna say TCP Global Lacquer.
Yeah.
Is garbage lacquer.
Yeah.
But it's for a purpose. It's meant to like if you're gonna do like relicking or try to age it.
Okay.
That is the lacquer you spray.
Oh, really?
If you want to have like a nice lacquer, get anything other than that.
Okay.
But if you want like, because literally like we have those bodies we use the TCP Global Lacquer.
Yeah.
For specifically for its ability to check super easy.
Yeah, it checks really
like a bolt-on guitar. Literally, pro tip: bolt-on guitar. You've seen it.
Yeah. Throw
it into a freezer, and it comes out checked.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of that stuff messing around with like super shocking it or anything.
No.
It's it's a good lacquer if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you're looking for a good finish, like a high quality finish.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why I call it garbage lacquer.
Yeah.
But
go with Cardinal or I don't know what, but yeah.
Have you ever bought the C grade lacquer?
No.
No. I don't think I ever did either. I've heard. I think Saul Cole uses Cardinal.
I don't know what he's using these days. I'm not sure.
I saw a lot of Cardinal. I sprayed some Cardinal finishes, but I never sprayed their lacquer stuff. I sprayed like I got some color coats of theirs.
But anyway, yeah, we definitely see it's. Anyway, it's working great. I think it's gonna be fine. Honestly, though, I think that we could talk all night about this stuff, clearly.
Yeah, because we only made it to when I was like 23.
Yeah, this is the tip of the iceberg. So, there may have to be a second alcohol-fueled episode. Where
yeah.
Here's a question for you. Would you ever be willing to come back on the show to field listener questions about paintwork or CNC machining or anything that you know stuff about?
Like life problems?
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't care? All right, so that might happen. So
for a philosophical question.
That might happen. I'd like you to meet Jason and, whatever, just like get you in on the thing because, you know some shit about some shit, and
that's
have a
best. That's the most generous description of my life.
You have a perspective that I appreciate. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, if I haven't said it already, yeah. I mean, I respect the hell out of what you do. I think you're good at what you do. I hope that listeners listening to this understand the respect that I have for you, and maybe pay attention to what you're doing.
Oh,
we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only 1,500 people an episode. No, who cares?
More than anybody has ever listened to me talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any parting words before we sign this thing off?
No.
No. You're good.
No, No, I don't have anything to add. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm really happy that we finally managed to make this happen.
I appreciate all the generous words.
Dude, I mean it. I really do.
Well, that changes things.
I'm not just saying that this is not a fluff piece. It's not. I mean, I'm saying flattering things, but I'm saying it because I mean it. You're a fucking badass at what you do.
Yeah, it's hard to. The Luthierism community is kind of like they're really supportive, but it's also kind of hard to come across like genuine. Genuine. Compliments. Because the rule is like you always want to say something nice. It's kind of hard to take a compliment. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's my final words.
It's hard to take a compliment. Okay. Well, I mean, I know what I see. I recognize good work when I see it, and I know what you do, and I don't know anybody else that does what you do, to be frank. So, I mean,
yeah, and everybody listening is gonna be wondering who the hell I am.
Who the hell you are? They probably are, but this, hey, I don't care. This is my podcast, so
yeah,
Boom. Yeah. All right, crack a beer. Thank you for listening to the Luthierist Podcast.